Ready to start?
Wait, at 3, 2, 1. Hold on one sec. At 3, 2, 1, we'll start, okay? And you take it at 3, 2, 1. Hold on. I don't want to send it to my. Híjole, otra vez no se puso. Ah, beautiful, Kate. Patricia, at 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. Bienvenidos. My name is Patricia Perez, and I am AARP California State President Emeritus. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our third charla, part of our financial security series titled Let's Talk Dinero. I know from personal experience, we have many competing responsibilities and obligations, but having a strong financial plan will help you and your family be better prepared for the future. And you joining us today is a great start. We know planning and managing your finances may seem overwhelming at times, but you are not alone. Sadly, only 27% of Latinos 35 plus in California report having a retirement plan or securities, with 401k or college savings being the most common. But that's why we're here to help. You've heard, ARP saying it's a wise friend and fierce defender. Let me tell you why. As part of our nationwide work and save efforts, AARP California was integrally involved in the development of and establishment of the Calsavers program. In 2016, we worked with the state treasurers, Senate Pro Tem, and other leaders and stakeholders on the passage and signing of SB 1234, the California Secure Choice California Secure Choice Retirement Savings Trust Act. It doesn't flow that easy for me, which established the Calsavers program. And Calsavers basically is the state's pioneering savings program that provides a path to retirement security for the millions of Californians who lack access to a retirement savings plan at work. We have a special guest with us today that will tell us a lot more about the Calsavers program and how to access the resources that can help us be better prepared for the future. I'll tell you a little bit about Jonathan Herrera, who's the Director of Outreach and Education at Calsavers. Jonathan has over 20 years of experience working in personal, small business, and government finance. Prior to the Calsavers team, he spent 3 years at the State Treasurer's Office and 13 years at Citibank, where he assisted with the organization's business development and outreach strategies and worked with a team of advisors to provide wealth management services and solutions for families and small businesses. Jonathan has a BA in government from Cal State University, Sacramento. But anyway, enough of the witty. Let me turn over the program to Jonathan so he can tell us a little bit about the Calsavers retirement program. Hola, Jonathan.
Hola, Patricia. Thank you so much for having me this afternoon. Let me start by saying, huge thank you to your leadership and AARP's leadership, and for the opportunity to join you today. As you said, AARP played such an important role in, the advocacy work and development work that was, behind the Calsavers program years and years ago, when it was just an idea, a legislative idea in everybody's minds, and has helped us get us this far to where we've launched and made it most of the way through the rollout. So really excited to have this opportunity to talk to you about how California is working to address this retirement savings access gap that, as you pointed out in your introduction, really affects our Latino community, more than any other, certainly disproportionately in the state. So, in a nutshell, as you were saying, Calsavers is the state's new retirement savings program designed for the millions of Californians who, are going to work every day playing by the rules, but don't have access to a workplace-based retirement program. It was created by legislation that passed back in 2016, like you said, SB 1234, which actually requires California employers who do not sponsor a retirement plan and have 5 or more employees to participate in Calsavers and give their employees access to the program, which we've designed as an automatic enrollment payroll deduction IRA. But as you were saying, or as we've been saying, it was really designed to address this access gap that exists in the state. We've seen that nearly half of Californians are projected to retire into economic hardship if they can retire at all, which is a really sobering statistic. And we think that a key driver of that fact is those millions of Californians. It's estimated between 7.5, 8.5 million Californians who, again, don't have access to a way to save for their future at work. And when you look a little bit deeper at that population, you see that 2/3 of them are working for small business. 2/3 of them are people of color. More than half are Latinos. More than half are women. So it really speaks to this intersectionality that, of all the headwinds that affect some of our communities when they're trying to achieve, financial stability, financial resilience in the long term. And the reason why this access is so important is because, the research also shows that workers are 15 times more likely to be saving and be on a path towards retirement security if they have access to a payroll deduction savings plan at work, right? And it's not rocket science by any means, right? It's just it's giving people the ability to save small amounts automatically from their paycheck, just set it and forget it, out of sight, out of mind. So, with that in mind, knowing that the best way to get folks saving and on a path towards retirement security in the workplace, the state passed this law that created Calsavers, created this new mandate on California employers. But, the goal was to make sure that all people, regardless of where they worked, where they're coming from, what industry they're working for, how many hours they work, that everybody has equal access to these tools that we know work to get folks saving and on a path towards retirement security. That's what we're all about.
I know. And, we all work so hard. And unfortunately, many times, either one, we cannot afford to retire. Like you were saying, we have to work until we die. Or, unfortunately, we may come, to depend on our children to support us, and we do not want to be a burden holding our children back because, they can't reach their full potential because then they have to take care of us. But unfortunately, that's the reality for many of us, I'm sure. But like you said, the statistics show that if there's something available, people will take advantage. I know it's not easy. I know, money is tough and it's hard to save, but you're saying that statistics show that if it's available, we'll use it, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. Well, to give you an idea of who's with us today, let's take a quick poll. And so Jonathan gets an idea of who's watching. Let's see. So we have a question. Are you enrolled in a retirement savings program? Just basic yes or no. So yes or no. Are you enrolled? Do you have a retirement savings program? And I think we have the majority say yes, which is, we have fabulous members and supporters and friends at ARP. So the majority are taking advantage of a retirement savings program, which is fantastic. But we do have 33% of people who don't have anything right now. So Jonathan, bottom line, how can people enroll? How can we enroll, or what's the first step to taking advantage of Calsavers program?
That's a great question. So there's actually two ways to enroll in the Calsavers program. The first and most common way is through the workplace. So as I mentioned, this is the result of a new state law that actually does put a requirement on California employers. And it says that any business in the state that has an average of 5 or more employees and is not offering a qualified retirement plan is going to be required to register for Calsavers and facilitate their employees' access to the program. So any employee of any of these businesses that register for Calsavers is going to have the opportunity to decide whether or not they want to participate. It's designed as an automatic enrollment program. So, the employer is actually required by law to give us some information about the employees that we would need to start their account. And we'll communicate to the employee. We encourage them to engage with the program and learn about it and all that. And if they don't opt out, they get enrolled in the program and they can start saving with us through that mechanism. The other way for people to join is just through individual participation. So we know that relationships in the economy are changing, right? There's a more and more non-traditional employees out there, contract workers, gig workers, stuff like that. And again, we wanted to make sure that the program was as inclusive as possible. So, folks who are not working for a participating employer, just folks who are looking for another way to save can just go to calsavers.com and start their own account with us anytime they like. Really simple online process, just like, setting up any other type of account online. But, again, because our goal was to make this program as inclusive as possible for employees of these participating companies, if they're receiving W-2 income, are 18 years or older, and have a social security number or an ITIN, they can participate. So, there's no restrictions about how many hours they work or, any other rules for participation. And then on the individual side, anybody with earned income of any type who is 18 years or older and has a social security number or an ITIN is welcome to join the program. So again, regardless of how many hours you work, what type of employment relationship you have, if you're looking for a way to save for retirement, Calsavers could be one of those options.
So, Jonathan, if you are employed, you can ask your employer. But if you are, for example, a gig worker, if you're on your own, patching together a couple of jobs to make ends meet, you can go directly through Calsavers and do it that way.
That's exactly right. Yeah, calsavers.com, really simple process.
Perfect. Simple process, correct? Not very burdensome.
No, that's always been our goal. So, our goal in creating this program was to just make it easy, make it portable, right? For those folks who are working multiple jobs or, are, in a not part of the traditional employer-employee relationship, and keep it low cost, of course, has always been our goal for this program.
Yeah. And, we know that for many people, just saving is really difficult. Right now, many people are recovering from, COVID-19, the economy, right? Gas, so many crazy things. Is this a good time to start saving for retirement? Or at what point should we start really focusing on that?
Right. So, in a nutshell, it's always a good time to be thinking about saving for retirement. Granted, and recognizing that there are always those other pressures and, other financial responsibilities come first. Obviously, food security, housing security, all of those types of things are come first and foremost. But, recently, and especially in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've been hearing from both employers and employees out there that we're engaging with, that, how do I say it? I guess with so many people working to overcome the financial setbacks caused by the pandemic, more and more folks are looking for ways to improve their financial well-being and save for the future, right? And I think that the COVID-19 pandemic in particular was sort of a wake-up call, and we see that, now more than ever, how important it is for all of us to have financial resiliency in the short and long term. And that's exactly what Calsavers was designed for. And, believe it or not, and granted, we did launch the program in the middle of the pandemic, which, sort of created some headwinds. And we do have this employer mandate to come along with us and give us some momentum in the marketplace. But, we actually saw a lot of growth in the program, during these last few years, even up against the headwind, which I think really tells a good story about folks, taking advantage of the opportunity to save, even with all of those other headwinds going on. And, also want to point out that, we designed Calsavers with folks short and long-term financial resiliency in mind. So, we designed it around a Roth IRA, which, for folks who are less familiar with the differences between the Roth and the traditional IRA, the Roth, all of the contributions go into that account post-tax. So folks have already paid taxes on it. The benefit of that, at least in terms of, short-term resiliency in the face of economic shocks like this pandemic, is that it actually allows for tax-free, penalty-free withdrawals of people's contributions before they reach retirement age. So, when the pandemic hit, we started looking at the withdrawals on the accounts to see, if we'd see a spike in withdrawals. And even though people could access their monies and, be able to withdraw their contributions without paying taxes or penalties, we actually didn't see a huge spike. And like I said, we saw people were continuing to save. The number of savers grew, and with that, the assets that people were saving grew at the same time. So, you know, one of my favorite proverbs, I think people are always using it in regards to, you know, saving for retirement. And it says something like, you know, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the second best time is now. And I think, you know, that's, you know, so important when in terms of retirement savings, because I think, you know, the point that we're trying to make is anybody who can save, even if it's just a small amount over time, should do so. And those small deposits over time are going to add up. And then when you factor in the compound interest, you know, folks will be able to have a sizable, or hopefully sizable, nest egg by the time they reach retirement age.
You know, it's really encouraging to hear that people understand that this is a retirement savings, that we know times are really tough and this is a true sacrifice, but for them to know that this is for the long haul, right? That this is, you know, not for you just to pull when, you know, something arises. This is really a retirement savings. It's so great to hear, because unfortunately, you know, many people, as we get older, we become so financially vulnerable, especially Latinos, that, I mean, it's just wonderful to hear. And I guess that the good news also, you said that the plan was growing even during the pandemic, is that the more people hear about it, all they need to do is hear about it and then they'll take advantage of it. So it's up to us to really share the information and let people know it's available.
That's exactly right.
All right, we'll take another poll. And this one, we understand that there's reality and this is like, you know, best case scenario, but what percentage should you contribute to a retirement savings program? Nope, let's see, we have the first, or we still have the first question up. We need the second question. Hold on, there we go. What percentage should you contribute to a retirement savings account? I mean, we understand this would be ideal, but let's see, please, if you're watching, just answer. What do you think? Right now, pretty much everybody feels that 16 to 20%. 16 to 20% is the number one answer. Jonathan, what is the real answer?
I believe that most financial advisors would probably put it at something around 15%.
So actually, we were even higher than than the reality. So 15% would be ideal. So, you know, it sounds wonderful that, you know, people think even more so, but that's, you know, that's how important retirement is to us, and being able to retire and be secure as we age. That is wonderful. I was going to ask, can part-time workers also participate in the Calsavers program? Are they eligible for Calsavers?
Yes. So even, you know, part-time employees of our participating employers would, you know, would be included in their employer's roster and be given the opportunity to participate. They can opt out if they don't want to participate. And then, you know, anybody who's starting their own account by just going to calsavers.com through that individual participation, yeah, doesn't matter how many hours they work, as long as they have earned income, they're welcome to participate.
And I just saw, we had a question from someone. It says, the question is if people are eligible to participate if they already have a retirement plan through their employer.
So absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, again, the program is designed around an IRA, and folks can have as many IRAs as they can manage to handle. So keep in mind that an employee in that situation, they wouldn't have that automatic enrollment feature through their employer because their employer is already sponsoring a plan. So the employer is not subject to mandate, but they would be able to join through that individual mechanism and just go to calsavers.com and start their own account. The other benefit of that is that contributions to retirement accounts, contributions to the IRA and to 401ks are separate. So a person could potentially max out a 401k and max out an IRA. The only thing that they would need to pay attention to is if they have other IRAs outside of Calsavers, they'll want to make sure that they stay under the IRS maximum contribution limit, which is for an IRA, $6,000 per year. And that's combined between all of them.
Okay. And is can you do the contributions automatically, or do you have to, if people go directly through Calsavers, or do you have to each time just, make it a point to contribute?
So the savers have complete control over how they want to do that. So we've got some savers who are, making contributions when they can, fixed dollar amounts, but we do also have the ability for folks to be able to set up automatic contributions from their bank account. So, when we're talking about those folks who are in the individual participation method, they could either do one-time contributions when they're ready, or they can set up automatic contributions from their bank account if that's easier. And, I always think it's easier, right? If someone has it set up, they can just set it and forget it, and it's happening without them having to take that step every time.
Perfect. And I just want to let people know that in addition to the Calsavers program, there are other programs that can be helpful as people plan their retirement. And it's always recommended that you consult a professional who can help you based on your individual situation and your future needs. But also, AARP has a number of online resources where you can get quite a bit of information. All you can do is just visit aarp.org/retirement planning. Once again, is aarp.org/retirement planning. And it gives you a lot of information. I know we're focusing on Calsavers, but there's other other programs and other recommendations. So best to do some. Oh, thank you, Adriana. Just put it on the chat, aarp.org/retirement planning. So it's always best to just, do your research, right? That's like the mantra. Now, Jonathan, are there fees, or do we have to pay to be part of the Calsavers program?
So there are fees on the participant. So let me just get out of the way. First of all, there are never any fees for participating employers. So if we have any employers that are thinking about joining the program, there are no fees for employers to facilitate their employees' access. But the program is self-sustaining based on the small fee that we charge the participants. And it's an annualized asset-based fee. So that means it's just a percentage of the account value. Depending on the investment option that a person chooses with Calsavers, because we do have 5 different options available for folks to choose from if they want to customize the way they're handling their investments. The fee is between 0.83% and 0.95%, again, depending on which investment option they have. So basically that translates to 83 cents to 95 cents for every $100 they have in their account per year. But savers won't see the fees; those are factored into the value of their account on a daily basis. So they won't see a fee for it, but there is a small cost, less than 1% for participating in the program.
And you just mentioned that there's 5 options available.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, definitely. So within the Calsavers IRA, folks have 5 different investment options that they can choose from. So basically where they want to invest their money within the Calsavers program. And what we tried to do, our goal here was to not overwhelm people with too many options, but to give everybody the option to invest in a way that they see fit, that's either based on, their risk tolerance or, their age or time to retirement, or, for socially responsible types of investments. So we've got a suite of target retirement funds. So those are those mutual fund style investments that will automatically adjust as people get closer to retirement. So they'll be a little bit more aggressive when people are younger, but they'll automatically adjust to become more conservative as they get closer to retirement age. We've got a money market fund, which is basically a cash position, so no exposure to the market in that one. The idea there is to protect principal. We have a global equity fund, so a mix of different stocks from around the world. That one's an index fund. We have a core bond fund, so another index fund, but this one's a little bit more conservative because it's just a mix of bonds. And then the last option that we have is our ESG fund, or what they call environmental, social, and governance. So that's another mutual fund style investment where all of the underlying investments are chosen based on, their environmental impact, whether they're good, whether they're socially responsible, and whether they have good governance policy. So folks who want to invest their money that way have the opportunity to invest in those types of companies and investment opportunities.
So you really do, as a participant, have a lot of power to direct your investments, whether you want to be socially responsible, where you are in terms of your life. Like Jonathan was saying, if you're younger, you can afford a little bit more risk, more reward, and as we age, we may become a little bit more cautious in our investments. So there's a lot of power that we have, right? We can direct our investments. So, that's good. Question that I've heard that some retirement programs allow for withdrawals for certain qualified expenses. Would that be true for Calsavers? And would that be true for Calsavers?
Yes. So, Calsavers is an IRA. So all of the IRS rules that apply to IRAs apply to Calsavers the same way. And, as I mentioned, we did build the program. The default setting is the Roth IRA, which is the post-tax contributions. And with the Roth IRA, folks can withdraw their contributions before they reach retirement age without paying taxes or penalties, which, we thought was a pretty powerful feature for the program. There can potentially be penalties for withdrawing earnings on the account. So if they withdraw interest, but the IRS does allow for certain hardship hardship exemptions. And then of course, once folks reach retirement age, they'll be able to withdraw their contributions or their account balance over time from that Roth IRA without paying taxes and penalties again.
And you mentioned these hardship. What kind of expenses would qualify for withdrawals?
So someone should definitely talk to a tax advisor for more information on this stuff. A true expert rather than an armchair expert like myself. But off the top of my head, we've got I believe first-time home buying expenses, medical expenses, education expenses qualify for hardship withdrawals. There may be some others. Again, best to consult a tax advisor on that one to get the true answer.
Perfect. And how can people know if they're eligible? If there's any question, if people are not sure, how can they find out if they're eligible for Calsavers?
So best place to go if you're looking for more information, go to calsavers.com or saver.calsavers.com. It looks like Adriana has already posted that link to the chat, but all of the eligibility questions are answered there. In a nutshell, again, we wanted to make the program as inclusive as possible. So anyone who has earned income, is 18 years or older, and has a Social Security number or an ITIN can register for the program and participate in it. So we wanted to open up eligibility to as many folks as possible so that, no matter who you are, no matter where you work, you could have access to these programs that we know work to get folks on a path towards retirement security.
And Jonathan, just to be clear, so let's say our employer offers it, we sign up for it, we can't say how much of our paycheck will go to that, or we control that, or are we locked in? How does that work?
Absolutely, yeah. Savers have complete control over how they want to participate in the program, starting with their decision to participate, right? So folks can opt out or opt back in at any time. And then, they have complete control over how they participate. So if you're participating through your employer, you can choose anywhere between 1% and 100% of your pay, as long as you stay below that IRS maximum limit that we mentioned earlier, $6,000 per year. And then if you're participating on your own, I think the minimum contribution is like $10 per contribution. So again, wanted to make it easy, wanted to make it accessible. The other great benefit for folks is with the Calsavers program is the portability, right? We've seen about 35% of our current participants have contributed from more than one employer within the last year, which really speaks to either, folks moving around the job marketplace, or, you know, folks are working multiple jobs to make ends meet.
That is a great point, Jonathan. So let's say if I'm with my employer, I set up this Calsavers program. If I change jobs, I take the very same account with me, or? Yep. Yeah, I see you nodding. So yes,
That's right.
so the account moves with me. I don't have to close it, open it per employer.
That's absolutely right, and that's probably one of the, you know, one of the key differences between the Calsavers program and an employer-sponsored plan. And it's one that you know, that's caught me in the past before too. You know, I changed a job, and you know, I was faced with that decision of having to either cash it out or roll it over into another plan. And at the time, I was young, a couple $1,000s in there, and looked a lot more appealing in my pocket than in a retirement program. So, you know, when faced with that decision, I ended up cashing it out, and that restarts somebody's clock every time they do that. So with Calsavers, they won't face that decision. It's tied to the employee and follows them wherever they go. If they end up at another Calsavers participating employer, then the contributions from their new employer will go into their existing Calsavers account, so they won't have separate accounts. And then, you know, if they end up at another employer that's not participating in Calsavers, this Calsavers account is still their own IRA that they control and they get to make the decisions about, right? So they can keep it and just ignore it and let it grow on the side, or they can make additional contributions from their bank account, or if they prefer, they can roll the money from Calsavers into another qualified retirement plan. Once again, always going to issue the caveat, check with the tax advisor to make sure, you know, to ask any questions you have about, you know, tax consequences for rolling, you know, monies into different programs. But bottom line, you can roll your Calsavers account into another qualified plan, or roll money from other plans into your Calsavers account too.
And Jonathan, you know, in your role in outreach and education, what are some of the challenges that you hear, or the barriers that are out there? What are, you know, the realities that you're seeing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you know, we get a lot of different feedback from a lot of different types of folks. And, you know, I would say the vast majority of folks, both on the employer side and the employee side, are really excited about the opportunity, right? Because with a lot of these employers, we're talking about, you know, small businesses. Often, you know, they had been in the retirement marketplace before and hadn't, you know, found a qualified plan that sort of worked for their small business. So they're excited that Calsavers is here, sort of leveling the playing field for those small businesses that felt like they were left out of the retirement market. And then on the saver side, you know, again, excitement for having the opportunity to be able to save again. But, you know, at the same time, the sort of buzzword of the time right now is the rising gas prices, rising rent prices, and stuff like that. So, you know, in terms of I think what you were getting at is that, you know, folks are definitely feeling the effects of the financial conditions that are out there. And, you know, that's why we just want to emphasize the flexibility that comes with Calsavers, right? So you have complete control over how much you're contributing. You even have control over when you're contributing, right? So, you know, if you're contributing in your retirement savings program and you're feeling the pressure, you can pause contributions in Calsavers, pick them up when you're ready. But again, you know, I think it's a good time for people to be thinking about, you know, what steps they're taking now to ensure their long-term financial stability. And so, you know, again, even if it's a small amount, after you've covered your other, you know, your other expenses and making sure that your immediate needs are met, you know, if there's anything left over to save, it's important to do so, because those will add up and grow over time and ensure that you can continue, you know, to live comfortably once you either reach retirement or, you know, get to a place where you're no longer able to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I don't think there's ever going to be a time when we can say like, oh my God, we're flush with money. Now we're going to save. It's, you know, it's reality, right? There's always something, if not just, you know, the expense of living in California, emergencies, something comes up, but it has to be a priority if we want to be able to, you know, eventually retire.
Right.
So,
and that's exactly why, having access in the workplace is such an important thing, right? Because if you can set those contributions to take place automatically directly out of your paycheck before you even see it, then you can make sure that those contributions are being made, and then make adjustments as necessary, with the remaining.
Yeah, absolutely. And then is the information on Calsavers available in other languages other than English?
It absolutely is. So, and that's at every different channel that you might approach the program. So our website is currently available in 10 languages, although in the coming months, we'll expand that to 15 languages, the top 15 languages spoken in California. Our call center is bilingual on the phone. So, chances are you can reach an English and Spanish speaker at pretty much any time calling on the phone. We also have access to a language line, and we've been helping folks in dozens of languages since the program launched. So we're really proud to say that. And then even our Calsavers field team, who works with me to, engage with employers, get employers up and running, and do, live on-site presentations for employees. Even that team is multilingual. We can do presentations in English, Spanish, Cantonese, and Mandarin. And then, if we're ever able to expand the team, obviously, we'll be wanting to expand our language capabilities as well.
Perfect. So for anybody watching us, not only, use this information for yourself, but share it with other people. Now that we know that they can access information in, many languages, they can get an operator. So if, they prefer to speak someone, on the phone, it's available in language. So please share this valuable information with others. Make sure you tell all your familia, your primos, your tios, whoever, because we should really start saving for retirement like now. Jonathan, of course, if anybody watching us has a question, please just put it on the chat. So I just wanted to, remind everybody that are watching us. Also, that don't forget that all these resources that Jonathan is sharing can be found on the Calsavers Retirement Savings Program website at saver.calsavers.com. Correct, Jonathan? So it's saver.calsavers.com. So everything that Jonathan is sharing is available there. That's also the site where people can sign up, correct, Jonathan?
Right. That's right. There's prompts right at the top of the screen to get folks, to lead folks to where they can sign up for the program.
Yeah. And Jonathan, in your role, have you have any success stories, anything you want to share, any situations that have come up?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a wild ride over the last few years getting this program built and up and running. But it's been a lot of fun, and the outreach work is probably the best job on the team because of that reason, right? Because you're the person who's out there engaged with folks, talking about what this means to people. So I remember very early in the during the pilot phase of this program, I had the opportunity to go and not only help this, it was a small nonprofit in Oakland, get enrolled in the program, but I also got to sit down with their small staff. It was a place that does that rebuilds bicycles for folks and then gives them out to the community, and then also does bike awareness and safety and education for kids in Oakland. And I just remember how excited all the staff were. They're all, especially when you're at a small nonprofit, they're so mission driven, and they believe in what they're doing, and that's where they find the inspiration to do their job. But often in those organizations, the overhead is tight. The people who are running the program are wearing all of the hats and trying to make it, just make it run from day to day. So, when the leadership had the opportunity to join this program, and provide their employees with access to this program so that they could save for the future. They were really excited to do that. They saw it as a way to really, reward their employees and encourage them to see their commitment to the organization as more long-term, right? You can build a future with this program. And I just remember, when I was talking to the employees, how excited they were to be able to participate in this too. And it's refreshing because, people don't always think about retirement savings, right? So when you have when you start to have those conversations with people and you see them get excited about the opportunity, it really helps to, inspire me, and remind me why I'm doing this. But if anybody wants to see any of our savers share their own stories, we do have a Calsavers YouTube page. So if you go to YouTube and search for Calsavers, we actually do have several testimonials, both from employers and from savers, sharing their stories about why they're excited to participate in Calsavers. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Go to YouTube and search for Calsavers and see some of our folks sharing their own stories.
And this story that you were sharing about these micro nonprofits, that is wonderful. Because we used to think that these types of programs were only for like the major corporations, right? Pensions and the retirement plans, and now really anybody can have it. And the fact that it's free to employers is wonderful. So that all they have to do is just offer it, bring that incentive to their employees. It's a game changer. So hopefully people take advantage of it and, seize the opportunity. The sooner the better. Actually, I'm going to check out the site. I'd love to hear some of these testimonials. That sounds fantastic. All right. Let's see. Jonathan, anything else you want to say? Any final comments before we end our charla? Please just recap about the program and anything else you want to share.
Yeah, definitely. So, thanks again for hosting this opportunity to have this conversation about Calsavers. I know that retirement savings isn't always the most exciting shiny object that people like to talk about. But yeah, especially for those of us who do geek out on this kind of stuff, we've obviously dedicated our lives to it here at Calsavers to make sure that it works. But we're just really excited about the opportunity this presents for both employers who again might have felt like they were left out of the marketplace, who felt like they weren't able to take care of their employees with the retirement savings option. But we're so excited for what the future holds for savers throughout the state. I'm a bit of a dreamer in regard to this, but I'm hoping that this really creates a culture of savings within our state, and as the movement expands throughout the country, as California is not the only state doing this now, that it will really create this culture of savings, and maybe folks will start talking about it at the kitchen table, right? How's your Calsavers account doing this quarter and stuff like that, and encourage people to save. But if we do have any folks who are small business owners who happen to see this video or are joining us today, keep in mind that it is a mandate on California employers. So businesses with 5 or more employees, and that's an average of employees reported to EDD for the previous calendar year, are required to register for Calsavers and facilitate your employees' access to the program. That is if, again, you don't offer a qualified retirement plan. And then for employees, what I'd like to stress for folks who might be either looking for a way to save or who might, learn about Calsavers through their employer is, please connect with us. We want you to understand what the program's all about. We want you to learn about your options, and we want you to engage with the program. But, keep in mind that it is automatic enrollment, so folks do have to opt out. But other than that, our goal was to create just a simple, portable, low-fee way for folks to save their money for their future. And we hope that the folks who do get exposed to Calsavers will see it that way. So yeah, thank you again for the opportunity.
No, and we understand that it's difficult, for many people, that some don't trust financial institutions. I mean, life happened. I mean, we totally understand the challenges, but at the same time, the fact that Latinos are the least likely to have any kind of, retirement plan says something. So we really just need to share this information with our gente, with everybody, let them know that it's available, and hopefully, start building that comfort level and awareness. So, people will be able to retire eventually. So Jonathan, mil gracias for not only what you do with the program and bringing it to the community, but also for taking time to be with us today. And just a reminder to everybody that AARP has resources and information, and it can be found at aarp.org/retirement planning. Once again, aarp.org/retirement planning. And so thank you all for participating in our third charla on Let's Talk Dinero. We will continue collaborating with financial experts across the state to talk about debt management, investing, retirement planning, entrepreneurship, and much, much more. Thank you so much to Jonathan for joining us. And you can see our upcoming events. So our next one would be on July the 18th at 4. So please, these are, and we have an entrepreneurship one on creating a business plan on Monday, August the 15th. So please join us. Jonathan, mil gracias por acompañarnos. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we will see you on Monday, July the 18th. Oh, there are lots of events. So please join us, and to register, aarp.org/Los Angeles. Thank you so much for joining us. Hasta luego.